Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to do a character guide on Onion Knight. He just got his FR and his BT on Global, so we're going to talk about that. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different in this video. This is going to be kind of like a mini dual character guide. So Aroha already had her FR, so I did a really nice character guide on her already that pretty much you could watch that and it's really unchanged. It's just her BT is new. So what I'm going to do in this video is I do have Aroha on the showcase team, so we'll kind of revisit her a little bit. And I will make a point to talk about what her BT does, but I won't go through the full character guide experience with her. But I would say if you want the Aroha experience, I'm going to link her guide at the end of this video if you want to go back and watch her guide, because that pretty much will explain her full kit, pretty much the same as she is now, but I will talk about the news thing that she's getting, which is the BT. So I'm primarily going to focus on Onion Knight here. We're going to give him the full character guide experience, and then like I said, we are going to touch on Aroha throughout the video, right? So in this video, we're going to look at Onion Knight's calls, we're going to look at his artifacts and his spheres. The big thing with Onion Knight, I'll just give you a quick overview. He is an ice damage dealer. He is an enchant, imperil type character, so he's going to give weakness damage, enchant the party. One of his big facets is that he has turn manipulation, and then another thing that's kind of unique is he kind of has a mage mode and he's got like a ninja mode. So he's got two different modes that can kind of fluctuate and do things. And what's really unique about him is he actually gets different EX attacks and different BT attacks depending on which mode you're in. Now, I do not have Onion Knight's FR or BT. I will simply just be explaining them in the video, but I am going to showcase the rest of his kit as we go through that. Aroha, I do not have her BT either, but I will explain what it does as well. So let's start by looking at the calls. So for his calls aren't the craziest, but there is some, I guess, some value to it if you wanted to. So Blizzard combo here, nothing too crazy. It's just an ice attack, and it does like a 20% attack up to the caller. Nothing too crazy there. The LD call, though, is actually kind of cool. It does put an ice imperil down, but it does have turn manipulation. So I have used Onion Knight call in the past just to have on-demand turn manipulation, which actually can be pretty valuable, right? It's just a one-time use, but it's pretty cool, right? So if you want a little turn manipulation, sure, you could find some value for the call there, right? Okay. So looking at Onion Knight's artifacts and his spheres, what you want to do for artifacts, pretty easy. You just want to do attack 108, max brave 330. Onion Knight is an older character that doesn't have any crazy equipment passives, or C50 passives, I should say. So you just want to go attack 108, max brave 330, right? The other thing is if we look at the spheres here, his spheres are also pretty basic. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the spheres. So for spheres, you just want to go like typical A sphere type things. So you just want to go like attack and brave damage with him. The big thing to keep in mind with Onion Knight is that because he has two different modes, right? He's got the ninja mode and he's got the mage mode. He switches between melee and magic attacks, right? So you don't want to give him any spheres that require physical attack. You don't want to do any physical attack up ones. You don't want to do any magic attack up ones, because he's only going to be getting those half of the time. So you want to stick with just generic attack and brave damage, right? Now, because Onion Knight's hitting weakness damage, I'm like, let's just capitalize on all the weakness damage. So 7 is like one of the better weakness damage, brave damage spheres, so I like that one. Rydia, I always recommend, is a brave damage attack up. So those are just two examples of good weakness spheres you could do. You could do something like Sephiroth or Yang, like those are attack max brave combos. Those are pretty good as well. It just depends, but don't do something. So an example of one not to do is don't do Raijin, because Raijin's a really good physical damage up, which is going to be good for his ninja mode, but then when you're in mage mode, you're not getting it, right? So just stick to strictly straight up, basically attack, brave damage, and max brave. Like those are kind of the three things you want, but you don't want like just max brave. You want max brave with either brave damage or attack, right? But attack or brave damage solo is probably fine here. And then the D slot, very easy. All you really want here is just any attack boosting one. So Ash, Saz, Lise, Hope, any of those. There's even more than that. There's so many of them that boost attack that you can trigger. Just avoid Waka, because Waka, you need a certain number of buffs, and it's going to be more difficult for him to hit. Luna Freya is a great option because she's a weakness damage party attack up. So I threw Luna Freya on there because I had a lot of extra ones. And once again, he's weakness damage, so I'll take advantage of that, right? So that's pretty much it for the artifacts and the spheres. One thing I want to look at really, really quick is I do sometimes like to highlight when a character has an alternate weapon. And Onion Knight does have an alternate weapon. He does have one of these mannequin weapons, so it's like one of these dark weapons. So if you want to pick that up, you can pick it up for 10 weapon tokens, or what we call them, power tokens, in the power token shop. It's a 15 CP weapon, but you'll naturally get this through the story. I believe it's Act 2, Chapter 5. As you go through there will be a stage for basically every protagonist has one of these weapons. So you want to make sure you pick up that one for Onion Knight, and if you want extra copies, you could use Power Stones to dupe it out, or you could just buy them with your power tokens, right? So that's just a weapon you want to take note of, that he has that available to him. Alright, now one thing with my Onion Knight is mine is only Force Enhanced 10, and I do not have... obviously his BT or FR. So to compensate for that, I am giving him a max out Ultimo weapon, because he also doesn't have blue armor either, and I haven't booked the armor. So I kind of want to give him the Ultimo weapon to kind of offset that, give him a little extra power so you can see what maybe a more standard, like if you do a standard invest Onion Knight, it's probably going to look pretty similar to this. So like if you say had like blue armor, and you had like the FR or BT, you're probably going to be putting up similar numbers to maybe what I'm doing with this Ultimo weapon, right? Or it's going to get closer to that. So we're going to go ahead and try that out. All right, let's go ahead and hop in here. And we're going to hop into my favorite stage. What I'll probably do is we're going to hop in and I might just chat about Aroha really quick. Let me just double check. Let me just see if anybody in my friends list already happened. I mean, Onion Knight or Aroha, they're not really typical friend units. But if somebody happened to have one with an FR, it could show up. But no, this is the typical stuff you see. So we just won't bring a friend. Or do I want a friend? Yeah, I don't really... I don't have the FR, so I'm not really showing off the FR. And Lunafray is a Force Charger anyway, so I'm good. So let's just hop in. We're really just going to look through the base kit, and once again, I'll explain those pieces. So let's start by actually talking about Aroha really quick, just because I know some of you are all interested in Aroha. So just the baseline on Aroha is she is a very much support-based character with a lot of battery healing, and she helps your party really keep their brave up. That's what I'll just kind of use her skills. You'll kind of see her act as we go through, but I won't talk through her skills one at a time like I normally do. Once again, just think of it as just a little side showcase, and then I'm going to link her video at the end if you want to see like her full character guide, right? But Aroha, while I'm thinking about it, I do want to just go through her BT effect, just because that is actually something that's new, and I guess I could refresh you on the FR. Her FR is really good because it's very easy to get off. It's literally, if you are at full HP and you have at least 20% of your max brave, you get 50%. So super free and easy, very flexible to put in team comps. It's something I've always liked about Aroha. The only problem is she's only getting 50%, whereas more modern force times are usually 70, 80, even sometimes 90% or higher. But we'll take 50 for how free and easy it is, right? Now her BT effect, basically what she's going to get, it's going to do overflow stolen up, brave damage limit up, HP damage limit up. Those are kind of typical BT effects, right? But kind of her bonus, or like her special thing, is the party gets true HP damage, and it's a stacking buff. So based on how many stacks she gets, so it starts at 20%, goes up to 5 stacks up to 100%. So basically, while this BT effect is up, after your party member's last attack, they get true damage, like 100% of that last attack if it's fully stacked up, right? Now, someone pointed out in the comments, like, true damage doesn't stack with FR, which is true, right? But it's still very good, because Jack Garland also does true damage. I believe Tifa also does true damage, and the true damage numbers still, like, add up. It's still, like, big numbers, and you're still getting your normal damage scaled to FR. So I think her BT effect is actually really, really cool. I'm actually going to consider tokening it. I'm just not going to do it instantly, because it's way too close to anniversary, right? And if I'm sitting on 50 tokens, it makes way more sense to hold those for the anniversary character, because if I have enough tokens to BT token the BT weapon, you potentially could go in with tickets and like just get the whole kit, right? And not even have to use gems. So I'm going to hold my BT tokens, but I think Aroha BT should still be up by the time we get the next community stream, and we'll maybe know a little bit more. We'll see. If not, I'll just have to decide to let her go, or just go. Well, here's the thing. Her banner doesn't need to be up, right? I can just buy her BT whenever. So yeah, it doesn't even matter if her banner's up. I can just decide once I know more about the anniversary, then I might decide to go back and grab her BT, right? So that's pretty much what she's got with her BT. Is it necessary? No, her BT isn't 100% necessary. Once again, Aroha 2 is also a support character. So the thing with Aroha, if you want to get the benefit of the BT effect, you really have to green it, so you get the individual BT attack, because she's not the character you want to use the BT phase for, right? So she's tricky in that if you want that true HP damage, you're probably going to have to go full invest, which a lot of players aren't going to be willing to do. And there are better supports than Aroha, so I definitely don't think y'all should stress about grabbing Aroha, right? So anyways, that's my little tidbit on her. We're going to see her attack a little bit as we go through the video. But yeah, now we're going to focus on Onion Knight, get back to the task at hand here, right? We'll go ahead and just throw down an energy heal for fun, get a little battery. We're not worried about force charging. I just wanted some battery there. And then what I want to do is I definitely want a quick prayer right away. And let's get a quick prayer down on Onion Knight. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and do it. Sure, let's get BT effect going with Luna Freya just to make our characters look better. And then we'll see what Aroha is looking like here. The thing with Onion Knight that's kind of fun is it actually has been like a real hot minute since he's gotten like a true rework. So this is kind of nice to really see what he can do maybe in a more modern setting here. I feel like, yeah, it's been a hot minute. I mean, his C90 was okay, but he wasn't really that great. But I'm hoping his numbers are a lot better right now. So Aroha, let's go ahead. Aroha, I like the Popper EX right away. One other unique thing I'll say about Aroha, and once again, I'll talk more about this in her character guide I have linked at the end. But she gets double EX attack. So her EX actually triggers twice. So, or I shouldn't say it triggers twice, but you use it, and then you get to use it again on her next turn, right? It's back to back. So there's an EX, and I can pop another EX. So I kind of like that. She gets double EXs, and you know, when she first got her C90 upgrade, she was kind of busted with characters like Lude, because EX were like the most powerful attacks, and she was getting double of them, right? So yeah, I mean, 730k AoE is pretty decent for a support character, right? Alright, so we've got Onion Knight. Let's talk about Onion Knight here a little bit. So, Onion Knight's going to have two stances, so the magic stance and the physical stance. One just general thing to remember, think of the magic stance as your AoE stance and the physical stance as single target. So if you're AoE Brave Shaving, you pretty much want to stick to magic. Let's do the magic attack right away. That's going to be Blizzard combo. Okay, so we're going to use that. And it's going to put him in mage stance. And both of his stances will have like stacks on it, right? So if you get them fully stacked up, then they get better buffs. So Blizzard combo just did the ice AoE attack, and then he gets the sage buff, which is basically his stance, right? So the sage buff does party attack up, magic attack up, max brave up, speed up, and then party attack, an extra party attack up. Now the extra party attack up at the end only happens once you're at 3 stacks, and then the attack and magic attack you're getting off of the base buff scales based on how many stacks it has, right? So just think of it, so it kind of rewards you, like if you stay in the same stance longer, you can build the stacks and get the better buffs. So it kind of rewards you for staying in the same stance, but you can also like switch as you please. Now the other thing to keep in mind is the ninja stance, which is the other one we're going to talk about. It's a very speedy stance. So sometimes when you switch stances, he can actually jump upwards, but then that can also work against you if you're in ninja stance and you go into mage stance. He can actually like lose turns and go backwards because the mage stance is slower. So you have to watch out for that. Like when you're switching stances, like don't assume that the turn count you're seeing at the bottom is going to be accurate, right? So for example, let me see here. All right, so he didn't jump turns there. And then here's the thing, his EX is up and he's going to get EXs based on each stance. So let's do the Sage stance, which is called Meteorite. So let's do this, and once they get in, this is going to be the AoE EX. So he's kind of unique that way, right? He's got 2 different EXs, 2 different BTs. Yeah, like 800k AoE on an EX is pretty darn good, right? So let's talk about Meteorite, which we just got off here. So that's an AoE attack. It does put him up to max stacks of Sage. So his Sage buff here, you can see it's glowing gold now. Now it's maxed out. So it doesn't take long to max it out, especially when you're using the EX, right? Then the EX also gives him another buff called Forbidden Lands Power, which is going to ice enchant himself, and then party is going to get overflow stolen up. So now all of his attacks will have ice on it, including his ninja stance, because his ninja stance doesn't naturally do any ice. So it's nice to be able to get that so that he's fully enchanted, right? He does get HP attack pluses, which back in the day we used to use them, but in modern day you're never going to have to touch those, so don't worry about those. You can use skills all the way through, right? So, well, we've kind of got a setup. Let me go ahead and put a call on here. I think this is a good time to show off the LD because I want to get Onion Knight some more turns. So this is where you can do like the turn manipulation shenanigans. So this is going to come from the LD. Now the LD, it doesn't matter what stance you're in, it's going to do the same thing because the LD is a combination of the ninja stance and the sage stance together. So we're going to press it, and what you do is you pick a character to bring their turn up to go right after you. So I'm going to bring Luna Freya up. And Luna Freya was already there, and it brings up Aroha with her, so you kind of bring your whole party up, which is really nice. And let's see, we got, yeah, about a mil. I mean, 800k and then almost a mil. So that's almost a mil AoE, which is pretty good there, right? Now what I can do with Luna Freya is I can just spam couple of turns here, right? So let's talk about that LD that we just did, right? So it moves the allies' turns right after him. It does an Ice Brave attack. It does a melee and a mage attack, right? So it does like a combination of both of them. And then the party's next ability use is free. So you can see Luna Freya had a free skill use there, which is really, really nice. And it's something that maybe could be a little underrated because there are some characters in the game that might have very limited skill uses, and this is a way you can get more longevity out of your other characters, right? Which is really, really cool. And then this is what gives him his overhead, and you can see he's got it for 16 turns. So it's pretty much going to last forever, right? 16 turns is an eternity. And his overhead is called Job Level 99. Just gives him an attack up, overflow stolen up, brave damage up, HP damage up, brave stolen up. Any buffs he grants in the last 4 extra turns, that's pretty good, right? Party max brave up, brave damage up, and HP damage. So just a lot of good buffs. So just upkeep that for sure. And then the LD also did imperil the enemies to ice. So now we're dealing all that weakness damage, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spam through with Luna Freya here a couple turns. I just want to get her stacks up so I can throw another quick prayer on Onion Knight. Oh, actually, I can just attack here because she's got another turn before Onion Knight. Okay, so we'll drop that through. Now Iroha is going to get a turn. And then with Aroha, she's got another free skill use. Sure, let's just pop her LD. And what you're just going to see out of Aroha, you're going to see a lot of healing. You're going to see a lot of battery. Okay, yeah, 760k AoE. We'll take that damage. Okay, and then we're ready for a quick prayer. We'll quick prayer up Onion Knight, get him a few more turns. And then we can pretty much finish up the character guide on these next few turns, right? We'll Diamond Dust here. And then we'll finish up with Onion Knight. Now, we do need to get Onion Knight's EX again because I want to show, so I pretty much have featured his Sage stance. So now I'm going to feature the Ninja stance, and we'll take a look at that, right? Okay, so we'll go ahead and take that. All right, so Onion Knight's got a turn here. So we can do Blizzard. So this, too, is is a very quick party enchant. So if you need to very quickly do a party enchant, you can do it through that if you want to. But he can enchant, I believe it's through his BT. We'll double check that. Arts is FR, actually. It might be one or the other. We'll take a look at it. No, I think it's his BT that does it, and then his FR, I think, does it also. So right now with mine, I think the AA is the only way I can get it, because mine's LD only. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and let's go into multi-hit. Now, this is going to be Ninja Stance. So we got to watch carefully here. Okay, he did not jump turns, but we'll do multi-hit. So it's going to be single target, right? Wow. Okay, 1.1 mil. I mean, that's pretty good damage, right? So it's single target. He's going to be dealing over a mil with that's pretty good. And now we've got the EX up again, right? So let's do Blade Torrent. Well, let me talk about multi-hit. So that removes his Sage buff, and then it gives him the Ninja buff. And then he also gets an attack up, max brave up, and then once again he gets 2 stacks of Ninja. So Ninja does an attack up, max brave up, party attack up, or sorry, physical attack up, and then speed up, and then party gets an extra 45% at 3 stacks, same as the Sage one. So the big thing here, the buffs are slightly different, but just the big thing to remember is that the Sage buff has mainly focuses on a party magic attack up, and then the Ninja one has an extra physical attack up. So just depending on what party members you're using, it'll be one or the other. But I wouldn't worry too much about that because you're still getting like regular party attack up and some other buffs with that, right? Let's go ahead and hit Blade Torn. I'm curious on the damage of this. If the regular attack did 1.1, what is this EX going to do? Wow. Okay, hold on. How much? He's triggering the whole thing twice. Okay, hold up. Okay, 1.5. That's pretty decent, right? For an EX, we'll take 1.5. And once again, my Onion Knight probably could look better with better equipment. Now, in terms of the ninjutsu, other than it being single target on that Blade Torrent, I think pretty much everything else was the same, except you get the Ninja buff instead of the Sage buff, so now the Ninja's maxed out, but you get that same Forbidden Lands power, and then it's still in peril. So basically, it just puts you in full-on Ninja stance and all that, and then it also has high turn rate. So once again, very, very quick. He can get his turns up a lot quicker. And that's pretty much it for all of the regular attacks, right? So, sure, let's just pop an HP plus attack. Let's see HP attack plus Ninja. Yeah, you can see pretty weak, just 200k there. So you always want to be hitting the skills with them. Now, let's go ahead and let's talk about his BT and his FR really, really quick. And then we'll maybe do another attack with Aroha, maybe another attack with Onion Knight, kind of finish up from there, right? Okay, so on the BT, so he's got 2, right? He's got the melee version, he's got the mage version. So Spellbook, which is going to be your Sage version, is going to do a big AoE attack, and it's going to have a burst effect. Now, basically, here's the thing. You don't have to fret about, like, you know, which BT effect do I use? It's very simple. The ninjutsu one is if you want more single target, it's going to do a little bit more damage to a single target enemy. Most of the time you're going to want to do the AoE one, because what the burst effect is going to be exactly the same for both. It's just the mage one has a magic attack up and the ninja one has a physical attack up. So basically the buffs that they both get is they're both going to give overflow stolen up, they're both going to ice enchant, they're both going to do brave damage up, brave damage limit up, HP damage up, and HP damage limit up. So they both do those exactly the same. And then ninjutsu is going to do a physical attack up 100%, and the mage one is going to do a magic attack up 100%. So the two things when choosing which BT to use is either choose it based on your party. So if you're using a full magic or a full physical party, you might want to do that one because that burst effect is going to help them do a lot more damage. Or you base it off of how many targets. Do you have multiple targets or do you have single target, right? Now let's go ahead and talk about the FR really quick. So the FR, I actually kind of like the FR. I think it's kind of a cool effect on there. So it is going to also ice enchant. So once again, the BT and FR, that's going to give you ice enchant without the AA, but you do have the AA to also enchant. The FR also will move allies' turn, so it'll do turn manipulation just like the LD. It is instant turn, so Onion Knight's going to get a free instant turn right after it. It's going to do a big AoE attack. And then basically the HP conditions are this. As long as one of your allies acted before you, 40%. So basically what this means, as long as you're not letting the enemies get turns, you're going to get 40% for free. And Onion Knight helps with that because he's got the turn manipulation, right? So if you like the style of not letting the bosses get turned, you might really like that part of Onion Knight's FR effect, right? And then as long as you use an ice attack, your party members get 20%, but it's 30% if Onion Knight does it. So very simple, right? So basically your characters, if they're going to be enchanted, right? So if, say, Aroha attacked and Onion Knight or anybody else on my party acted before her, it's 60%. If Onion Knight does it, and as long as a different party member went before him, it's going to be 70%. Pretty easy, right? So let's go ahead and finish up. We'll just do a couple of extra Aroha attacks here. You can kind of see just what her damage is looking like, what her battery's looking like. So she's got, what kind of damage we got there? So 600k AoE, decent. Once again, she's a support character. Onion Knight, we can go back into Blizzard combo. We can switch stances. Once again, you got the AoE attack, 800k. Yeah, I mean, his damage is definitely up to par, right? Is it going to be Jack Garland level? Is it going to be Tifa Renoa level? Probably not, but he packs a lot of utility, right? So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Onion Knight. And once again, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to throw Aroha's video right at the end here. So go ahead and click that on the screen if you want to see Aroha's character guide. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.